got a super again from the last stream from Omniscience Sphinx, who said, "Do you think with the old Blizzard devs moving to new studios, would they make an MMO? And would that be would that pull away some of the older player base?" What I'd say there is, to make an MMO, you need a lot of two things: time and money.
Yeah.
The time horizon in MMO development is absolutely massive. I think a lot of people would underestimate that. It's like 4 to 5 years to make an MMO. Unless you're, say, somehow Yoshi P and in 2.5 you're able to get... But that was an existing team that was kind of already set up, and they already had a bunch of assets and things done.
Yeah, they just had a massive boot up the hole, basically.
Yeah. So it's the sort of thing... I could see MMO-like experiences... and experiences with like shared worlds and shared progression. Yeah. I do not think you'll see anything that resembles a traditional MMO soon. Probably not before Riot will come out with an MMO, which I think is just going to mean that basically no, and that's because it's just so goddamn expensive. Yeah,
it's like Riot have the stones to do that because they have all the money in the known universe essentially, and all the time they can do it right, and like I think. This is weird. They have the hubris to try and go, we're World of Warcraft for the modern era.
They can go make a $200 million game.
Yeah. Whereas I think everyone else in that kind of market will be less anachronistic. They'll actually go, right, well, what are we making now? It's like Palia, for example. Yeah. You'll see games along that line more and that kind of aesthetic because that's like the modern trend line. If you want to make a $100 million game or a $50 million game, you're going to have to do that to get the investment, unless you're doing it out of pocket, in which case you're mental.
Yeah.
And it's like
out of pocket, I mean, not possible. Yeah. You need VCs.
Yeah.
I mean, Moreheim could probably do it out of pocket.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you would have to be like obscenely rich and just burn money like crazy. Like it would need to be is that not what Kingdoms of Amalur kind of was?
Yes, that was basketball or baseball even.
Yeah. And that was just a load of personal money destroyed. In the
personal money and money from the city of... Is it Rhode Island?
Yeah, it's Rhode Island. Yeah,
that was something.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. That's tangentially related to World of Warcraft because Steve Denizra was on that for Reading.
Steve was on that. I remember your man, the baseball guy. I think he was on Scott Johnson's podcast. And interesting situation.
Yeah.
TLDR, do not expect an ex-Blizzard MMO anytime soon. Expect, I would say, ex-Blizzard... experiences that will give you an MMO-like feeling, but I would say not an MMO as you would see it based on what it traditionally is.
Yeah, people with that amount of time and money are making Genshin Impact instead. Yeah. Next, we've got two supers from last week. Because they're very similar. So Nico the Commie says, it's funny you mentioned cozy content. One of the new features in Endwalker seems to be a farming sanctuary similar to Animal Crossing. Oh, yeah. And then the Saga of Blitz said, FF14 has a Stardew Valley style area coming in the next expansion. FF14 already has this covered. I enjoy what they see. I enjoy that they seem to think ahead. So, this is a game that's got, I think, personal housing. Personal housing, yeah. It has, what are these apartments? Apartments are basically their solution to the fact that no one can get a personal house. Because that's one of the things, we talk about player housing and like FC housing. It's about as bad as real life, basically. Where there's limited amounts of plots on each server. When they're gone, they're gone. So being in an FC that has a house is actually a decent level of prestige. So like ours. So if you get, especially because ours is a large plot as well, which is nice. I think it's large, either medium or large. I think it's large, which is class. Good job, Matt. But there's because you can get your own room in an FC house, and it's not too expensive, and you're sorted. And then someone says housing savage because difficulty level. That's what it's like. My friend Dickie's like, he wants to buy a house for his FC. Yeah. On Sheep, I think. Yeah, and he's like. He's waiting to see when they're announcing the Ishgard housing because then people will move there and then older places will be freed up. So he's waiting for the patch announce, or like whatever patch will do that, and then he's going to book a day off work and then just try to get it as soon as possible. And he's going to have to. But apartments are their solution to that, where they're basically mirroring real life. No one can afford any land. All the land's gone. So he just put a skyrise and just jam people into it.
All right, so we've got those things. Then we have whatever this new thing is. So this seems up my alley. I think a lot of people liked the Pandaria farming in World of Warcraft. Yeah. But what I think I'm getting at here is, the Blizzard devs, they made the Mist of Pandaria farming, and then as soon as Mist was done, it was thrown in the bin. In the same way Garrisons were done, and then as soon as WoD was over, Garrisons were thrown in the bin. Because it was a build-around feature of that expansion only. So then, what is this in Final Fantasy XIV?
The island farming? I have no idea. I've not looked into it at all. Gotcha. Like, I should have, but it's just a case of they throw this stuff in, and they usually don't keep it, like... I mean, it's your usual complaint about Blizzard's gameplay first, and how that ruined Garrisons because they had to tie it to player power and gameplay.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it just exist as it was. FF likely won't fall into that because they haven't anywhere else, ostensibly. Every other feature they throw in is like a nice thing, but that's it. They don't tie it into stuff. It's just, here's the thing, if you want to go spend 100 hours doing this to get a load of mounts or a load of cosmetics, go for it, but no pressure.
I've been looking in here. This is a PC Games N article I found. It's quite short, but it just says not a huge amount is known yet, other than it turns the open world game into a farming game. It's been described as a way to relaxing. Hello.
That's probably, well, I don't know.
Fastly written article with no copy editor.
Yes.
It's been described as a way to relax and slow down the action-adventure game for easier pace, admit all the raids and quests, live off the land, raise animals, and cultivate the earth, all while soaking in sights of this beautiful paradise, reads one description on the official PlayStation blog, which I've now went to because I imagine they will have a copywriter.
Or maybe they won't. Maybe it's just a loose translation blasted through. But no, I haven't seen much of that. But I think it's the kind of thing where I think it'll actually be, I think it'll be interesting, something to do on the side, and because there's so much side stuff to do in general, it's like it'll be a good addition. And well, they seem to be happy to continue the game after Endwalker in the same game, as far as as opposed to some big thing, even though it's the end of the story. So it's like probably is something that'll be expanded on lightly as time goes on.
Well, in that case, that's just a big thing of, hey Blizz, do it, put it on an island.
Yep.
Give the Horde one, give the Alliance one, keep it going, and it will take upkeep with new expansions to keep this feature going.
That's what we pay you for.
That's what we pay you for. We pay you for new features. And it should be that as we keep on paying you, you get more capabilities and you're able to give us more. That's how it goes, my dudes.